Japan's beekeeping industry consists of two types of bees, the imported Western honeybee and the native Japanese honeybee. Western bees were introduced to Japan in the late 1800s and overtook the beekeeping industry due to their higher honey yield. However, traditional beekeeping is still practiced in Japan to this day with our native Japanese honeybee. One of the key differences with keeping Japanese honeybees is how we obtain new colonies. The breeding of queen bees is quite challenging with Japanese honeybees, so there are no commercial queen bees for sale, and it is not possible to purchase a new colony. Instead, beekeepers capture swarms in the spring. In today's video, we will show you one way how we capture a swarm. Today we are going to be following this swarm of bees that absconded from their hive around noon the day before. This board is used to attract a swarm of bees and is where the colony spent the night. About 24 hours later, the colony took off in search of a new home. A new hive was prepared in hopes that the swarm would settle there, but the swarm took off again, so we decided to track them. The bees have now taken off. They're flying all around and starting to circle the sky above before gradually taking off in a different direction. Let's try to track them and follow the swarm as it heads towards the road. We are now in the midst of the swarm. What's interesting is that even though there are other colonies swarming, the swarms manage to stay separate. There are roughly 10,000 bees flying around in this swarm. It looks like the swarm is now heading west, so we will follow them in that direction. Luckily, this swarm is moving very slowly, so we can keep up, even by just walking. It seems like the range of the swarm is roughly 10 meters. Have a look at these worker bees taking a break from swarming. Usually we don't see any bees resting while the swarm is on the move, but maybe these bees are able to take a moment since the swarm is moving so slowly. There are so many bees on Mayu. It looks like there are more than a dozen on her hood. It seems like maybe the bees are hitching a ride on Mayu since we are headed in the same direction as the swarm. There are even more bees from the swarm on the back of Mayu's jacket. It looks like there's at least 100 of them. This could be a good sign that we are headed in the right direction, since so many of the bees from the swarm are gathering on Mayu. We've run into an irrigation canal. The bees are still flying around in this direction, so we'll make a quick detour to keep following the swarm. The swarm is still in this vicinity, about 5 meters away. It seems like we have lost the whereabouts of the swarm after the detour around the irrigation canal. But over there, we can see the swarm. This is where the swarm was congregating, right here in this ditch. We can see a small swarm of bees next to a pipe of flowing water. It looks like the swarm is trying to settle into this concrete block. The concrete block is leaning against this metal pole, and there are quite a few bees inside. This doesn't really seem like an ideal place for the swarm to settle. The water coming out from the pipe next to the irrigation canal will splash all over the colony. The concrete block also is not large enough and will leave the colony exposed to the wind and rain. It is also too close to the ground, so it will be difficult for the colony to grow and expand. A pile-box hive can provide a safer home for the swarm, so the bees are being captured. There are still quite a few bees remaining from the swarm, so the beekeeper is taking another net and scooping up as many bees as possible for the transfer. We can see a large clump of bees still gathered on the pipe that the beekeeper has now scooped into the netting. The bees have been captured, and now it's time to transfer the swarm into a pile box hive. The swarm is still a bit restless, but if the queen bee is inside, the rest of the swarm will soon follow and settle into their new hive. The capture and swarm transfer has now been completed. Thank you for watching today's video. Please make sure to like today's video and to subscribe to our channel for more content about Japanese honeybees. Make sure to check out and follow our Instagram page where we post daily about beekeeping in Japan. We also have a website full of information about beekeeping in Japan and, of course, Japanese honeybees. Thank you for watching and see you next time.